Tycoon games, also known as business management simulators, are a genre of game in which the player owns and manages a business where you somehow manage to make Bezos amounts of money from a Macca's. Today I'll be discussing the three main forms of Tycoon games. Mainstream Tycoon games are created by a development team with polish and care, and end up releasing on PC and console. My best example for these games are the 2-point games, although Planet games are also great. They dominate the genre due to their simplicity. I'm looking at you, City Skylines. Fun art style, unique mechanics, and the fact that you can place everything where you want to, so that you can build your hospital or campus the way you want to. It's harder to earn money. This is balanced out by the fact that buildings cost about the amount that they would in real life, instead of 100 gazillion inconinian dollars for a printer like it would in a mobile game. It gives enough entertainment for the player to keep playing instead of logging on for 0.1 second to start an upgrade, then leave and come back 1 light year later to start another upgrade. This is because building and upgrading are instant, meaning that there is always management and tasks to do, instead of having to wait ages for an upgrade and being bored out of your mind just to be able to progress. These Tycoon games are the golden example and are the way that every Tycoon game should be made. If a smaller scale of a game like this was made and put on the App Store, I'm sure that it would be one of the most popular apps on the store. Speaking of, now that we've gone over why a lot of mainstream Tycoon games are great, let's talk about why mobile ones are so bad. I'm gonna be honest, I love the Tycoon genre of game. And while I do hop on Planet Coaster on my PS4 every so often, I would rather be playing a shooter or racing game, which is why, to scratch the Tycoon itch, I turn to my phone. Much like 90% of mobile games, Tycoon ones are equally as scummy. The lack of customization of where to place rooms and items is quite restricting, and they're usually really lazily made, and you need to wait sometimes days at a time for a single upgrade that will cost as much or more than the Earth itself. Also, the fact that you don't get money while offline for longer than 2 hours without having to pay 10 quid is downright infuriating, along with the fact that if you basically want to do anything to speed up your progress marginally, you need to pay real money. I think I have too much of a life to remember every 2 hours to log on every day just so that I can progress at a normal speed. I wouldn't mind an upgrade system with in-game money, but not this. Now, the rebirth system. Why was this invented? Probably because of the fact that developers are out of ideas and too lazy to invent new areas, rooms, or original things to add to the Tycoon's upgrade. And they want to extend the playtime so that they can make more money. They decide to add rebirthing, which is a mechanic where you sacrifice everything and restart the entire game with nothing for a slight money boost as you upgrade and a new background. And some games have 100 levels of this. I'd much rather have a short game where I can delete it and just choose another to play instead of this crap. And finally, all of them require an internet connection just so that they can play ads and put a million pop-ups on my screen to watch ads. The times that I want to play Tycoon games are when I'm either bored or on the train home from school. But I can't because it thinks I'm actually rich enough to have my 7G on all the time so that it can show me a little video and make a small amount of added revenue. Yes, I know this is weird, but somehow when I think of Tycoon games, I think of Roblox. It was actually my first introduction to the genre when I saw a YouTube video of one back in 2014. I honestly think the immense amount of Tycoon games on Roblox helped popularize the genre. There are thousands of them on the site. How do they compare to the mainstream and mobile categories? Roblox Tycoon games are a rather different breed because there are so many people on the platform, there are so many varying levels of quality. It goes from, what the hell was this? Why did a 6-year-old decide to make a Roblox game? To, wow, that was pretty terrible. While some have nice maps and UI, the good pretty much ends there. Roblox games are pretty much just idle games, but in 3D, with very, very few exceptions. But there are no rebirths, and the building is instant, so how can they possibly be worse? Money takes so long to generate, sometimes leaving you waiting for hours at a time. And you can't leave, because as far as I know, the engine doesn't have the resources to make offline income generation. Unless if just developers don't implement it so that they can get money for people, playing. Oh, you're just stood still for ages. Oh, and of course, AFKing isn't an option because if you're gone for upwards of 20 minutes, you get kicked, making for an extremely boring experience. Oh, and of course, you need to pay Robux for anything. Like, Roblox is worse than EA on microtransactions, so Roblox Tycoons are extremely mediocre. I would only play them with a few friends, because I would rather watch paint dry than play that game. So in conclusion, the mainstream Tycoon games are very fun to play, especially with some nice music in the background. Roblox Tycoons are simply worse versions of idle games in disguise. Either way, I wouldn't want to spend more than 10 seconds a month on that site out of fear that I'll be put on a register. Finally, mobile games are all idle, pretty much, and extremely boring, and some features are just infuriating. And I just wish someone could make a good Tycoon game to release on mobile.